make everybody give a safe ride home. Amen. Please recite the pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Tony Inhill.
Here.
Ernie Babin.
Here.
Matt Benoit.
Here.
Jeff W.
Here.
Merlin Leres.
Here.
Jan Rogers.
Here.
Barry Studier. Morgan Stewart.
Here.
Vicky Thomas. You have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, first on the agenda to approve the minutes for the last meeting.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Jan. Have a second? Second by Marilyn. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passed. Next on the agenda, election of new officers. Do we have a nomination for chairman?
I'll nominate Ernie.
I'll second that one.
Move to close. Second close.
Congratulations.
All right, vice chair,
The Mickey.
Nominate Mickey.
Mickey Thompson,
Second.
second by Marilyn. All in favor? Any opposed? Nominations are done. New business, local concerns, Mr. Clark.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. How come this isn't working? Oh, yeah, there you go. This is what we've had on the agenda for a while. And I'm going to recommend to you that we put this on hold. There's some unfinished business that I have not been able to get to. I have not been able to get to this on the site because of some difficulties. The holidays intervened. I don't think it's going to make a hill of difference to this guy at this point. So I've got to circle back to the Corps of Engineers and to OCM in Baton Rouge to make an informed decision on what we're going to do on this property. There could be some mitigation involved with this. So my recommendation just to hold it to the next meeting. Hopefully we'll have all this taken care of at that time.
Need a motion to put on hold. Motion by Jeff, second by Jan. All in favor to put on hold? Any opposed?
All right, next item is why is this not working? Oh, there it is. Mr. Ellis, this is an after the fact permit. He's got, I don't know if you can see it, but dang it. Yeah, Vicky, it's not moving. On the plat, in the front, there's a little rectangle. It's got a number 1 in it, not too far from the road. There's currently a trailer there. That's what he wants to use for his home site. And what he's going to do is take dirt from number 4, which is the next little circle. It's a little borrow pit. He wants to take the dirt out to elevate his home. And then going further back, number 2 is a pond that's already filled with water, and that's what he had done before. And we got him to stop on that. And number 3 in the back is a crawfish pond. So the front is all urban upland. The back is urban agriculture. There's no wetlands involved in this. So I'm recommending, hit it, Vicki. I'm recommending a local coastal use permit with the conditions as far as the borrow pit. You got to stay no closer than 50 feet from the property line, keep the road free from mud, et cetera. Usually, if he's going to haul dirt off that site to sell, then he needs to follow state and local signing requirements for the road.
I got a question on, if you go back to the map. So you already dug a pond. Where does that dirt go to? Is it already?
I don't know what he did with that dirt, but there's water in that pond.
Yeah.
I think what he did, this is an after the fact permit.
Right, I think
What
that's
he did
caused
is
it.
he dug that, and I think he did sell the dirt, and he was putting using it as a landfill. And he got in trouble with DEQ and that kind of thing. So now he wants to come back after the fact and make it right, get the permits, so.
All right, does the crawfish pond have to, I mean, is it already dug or he's just gonna use to make a levee around it to make the crawfish
Yeah,
pond?
I don't think that crawfish pond is dug yet.
He
Okay,
may, he
best
may
I could
just
tell.
levee it up, bring it to where he can get the water in it.
Oh, yeah.
So he's not really gonna be excavating out of it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah.
If he is, he'll use it on his house to bring it up.
Right, right.
So just looking at the recent aerial of it is definitely a junkyard. So that's what he got in trouble for, probably.
Yeah, but he turned this application in back in March and it went into enforcement and everything and it came to us in December. So he had to take all that out and everything
okay.
back then.
Okay.
Well, he did take a lot of it out. He kind of piled it up on the site, best I could tell, but
So we have the restrictions you just put, the 50 foot is from the property lines.
that's for the borrow pit,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I would say all the ditches, I mean, all the ponds, so nothing can be closer than 50 foot on air.
Okay,
That's really what you have,
Yeah.
but I mean, not just a borrow pit, but I mean, you don't want to, even if it says a pond, it could be too close to the property line and.
right,
so-
right.
Number two, if it's already, the number two pond, if it's already dug, I mean, is the property line?
Yeah, and
It may be closer than 50 feet. It's kind of too late
I
to.
went back there and I don't think it's quite that close to the property line. I think it's okay. But he's not gonna widen that.
Yeah, so we just put that restriction on. If
Yep.
he violates the restriction, then he went against his permit. Put it
So
on
do we,
all four,
That's
all
fine.
three.
We need a
ponds.
motion with the, approve with the restrictions stipulated.
Yeah,
Moved by Jan, second by Jeff. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passed.
no state concerns, no consistency determinations. That's all I got at that point, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Subcommittee report,
Okay, subcommittee report, we have not had a meeting, in the last month, but we do plan to have a meeting on Tuesday, February 18th here, at the office here to go over the new
On the seventh
Pers-
floor at,
Yep.
what, 11:30?
11:30.
11:30, yeah.
And I'll have lunch.
So
And I
are we
think-
all invited to that if you?
I-
Yeah,
oh,
it's
think-
gonna be a public meeting,
Okay,
and, I mean, we don't have the amount of space we have here, but we can probably see,
you
10,
can see
12 people.
15 people around us.
yeah, yeah.
But, just need to let Vicky know when it's time. She's
I'll
gonna,
Right.
send a text
She's gonna
out.
have
Yeah,
Get
okay.
a count- I wanna get a
she,
count
she,
for
she's
the
gonna send a
food.
text, email.
right, okay.
And
I'll send
we'll
a
have,
text closer to time to get a count for the food.
have lunch.
Thank you, Jeff. Discussion restoration projects.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I greatly shortened the director's report because there was a lot of inactivity because of land rights on a whole bunch of projects, so I didn't repeat that, but the land rights issues still apply to about 5 different projects. So the ones that are moving forward, TE 156, that's the Bayrockeracy Marsh Creation Ridge Restoration, it was given conditional approval for Phase 2 construction funding at the technical committee meeting on December 12th, but it's a conditional approval pending available money. Step in the right direction. TE 165, that's the Terrebonne HNC Island restoration. It's the Bird Island. They're moving pretty quickly on that. I think the sediment pumping onto that island is going to begin shortly. TE 171 is the Port Fourchon Marsh Creation. That was approved for Phase 2 construction funding at the December 12th Technical Committee meeting. I spoke in favor of that, even though it's in Lafourche Parish. It is benefits Terrebonne given its location. TE 163, that's the Raccoon Island restoration. The team is looking to evaluate 4 alternatives for the 30% engineering design. 4 alternatives. I like alternative 2. Now, if I get an opportunity to talk about that, officially, I'm gonna do that, because alternative two, in addition to beach and dune, backberry and marsh mounds, they want to repair those segmented breakwaters on the Gulf side. And I think that should be done.
Agree.
When you say repair, you mean add to?
No, what they
Close them
want to
up?
do is put rocks to elevate them, because they tend to sink, and you want to bring them up to their design height so they function properly. All right, at that same technical committee meeting, we had two land bridge projects on there. Both of them were not selected for E&D. However, I think this is crucial, and it's a step in the right direction. The technical committee is going to revisit that land bridge because they understand how important it is for Eastern Terrebonne Parish. Rather than doing on a piecemeal hit miss basis, they want to go out there and do the engineering and environmental work to actually find an alignment that works. And once there's an alignment, then marsh creation projects can be slipped into that, and they'll get approved, hopefully. So how long is this going to take? Don't know. But I thought it was a step in the right direction, and it could result in some highly likelihood of securing funding for some marsh creation projects out there. And by the way, that land bridge is not, it's kind of amorphous in the master plan. This would solidify a feasible location for that. That needs to be done. Some other updates, the Coastal Workforce Development Program at Fletcher. They're trying to get more students into it, and one of the ways they felt would work would be to make the Coastal 101, the initial seminar, online. So I agreed to do that. I broke the presentation up into two modules with questions that have to be answered. I've written a script for it. Fletcher's got that. They're reviewing it. At some point, somebody's going to have to do the voiceover for it. But what it will allow students to do is at their own pace, access that, take them, answer 3 out of 5 questions, move to the next one. And once they're certified, they've done both of those, then they can move on to the next phase, which could be some industry-based certificate program. So I think that's a step in the right direction for that. The 2029 Coastal Master Plan had a kickoff meeting last month. It was virtual. There will be other meetings scheduled during 2025, but they haven't been scheduled yet. The Equipra FY25 Parish Matching Grant application has been forwarded to CPRA. That's for the completion of the Rockersy Bay Phase 2 terraces. We're partnering with Ducks Unlimited about that. However, it appears that there were more applications submitted than they've got money to cover. So they asked us if we could, if our project is scalable, and it is. You tell us how much money, and we can scale back the linear feet of terraces for that. I wish that wasn't the case, but something is better than nothing at this point. The Equipra Task Force meeting is scheduled for January 23rd in Lafayette. I plan to be there. The important PPL 35 Region 3 meeting scheduled for February 5th in Morgan City. That's when they're going to make their proposals for our basin. The electronic voting will be later in the month, near the end of the month. And as Jeff said, our project subcommittee meeting will meet on February 18th at 11:30 up on the 7th floor to talk about those projects and set our priorities. BetNet Management Conference on February 13th. The next CPRA meeting is on the 15th at the state capitol. And a little birdie told me that particularly in this FY 2026 Coastal Annual Plan, there's a public meeting and hearing on that on January 30th at the Civic Center starting at 5:30. I was told that there's a lot of Terrebonne projects in that plan. Good. Is this in your packet?
Yes.
Okay, that is a breakdown that Vicki did of the monies permit money, CIC permit monies we collected in 2024, 69,400. However, there's another 19,009 that's pending, that hadn't come in yet. So it was almost $90,000 when it's said and done, which was a reasonably good year. Okay, I think you've all been given this. I've been thinking about doing something like this for a number of years. And I think it was needed to strengthen our case for outside funding for projects that would make our coastal area more resilient. So I put this together. The parish president wants the council to adopt it by resolution, but before that happens, I want you guys to look at it, review it, comment on it. There's also a list at the very end of the priority list, the ones I think we should be, in my opinion, should be done first. Now, all this is dependent on funding. I mean, that's a major thing. So anyway, I think we have a stronger case for getting funding if we've got something like this than if we don't have something like this. So that's why it's done. So unless there's any questions, Mr. Chairman, that's all I
I
got.
have a question, Mark.
Sure.
In the last month or so, I saw something on a program or TV about these fake rocks and things they were developing to put on coastal areas.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
Yes, yeah, Dan Oss is building some
Yeah, it
of
was.
those.
That's right. It was Dan. That's
Yeah,
right.
Dan
correct.
Oss has done some of that.
Yeah.
I think that I don't have an
Yeah,
issue with
Dan.
that.
Just show.
And if we can find a way to use them here,
Well, like you're talking about redoing the rocks over there at.
yeah, the rocks are already there though,
I
Merlin.
know,
Yeah.
I know, because in the '80s when I was working at Lumcon, when they first put the rocks at East Timbalea, I mean, it didn't take long for those rocks to disappear.
They did them wrong.
Yeah, they did them
Did 'em
wrong.
wrong.
Okay, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I
They did
just
'em wrong. It's the same at Wine Island. They did them incorrect.
okay. So it's about the placement, the ink.
It's
You
the
know,
way they Wine Island, they did a solid ring around it.
right?
You can kind of see the rocks, but the sand is migrated to the north. Now, we got to fix that, and I think CPRA is going to do that.
Yeah, but those things that they're creating, I mean, it seemed lighter weight. They don't sink as fast or whatever. You know, I don't. I was just curious if we were using any in Terrebonne Parish.
No,
yet.
we're not. Not to my knowledge.
We need something to hold the earth together. They're making 3D printed reefs to hold the fish.
Right. Well, yeah,
we,
yeah.
we got the fish if we can keep the land.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's got an application,
yeah,
and I'm certainly open to using them if we can,
Yeah. I
get
was
the
just
funding
curious,
for it.
Yeah. So, I mean, they do everything 3D now. They 3D houses, with concrete.
I'll put
Anybody
you out
else
of
got
business,
something for
bro.
Ms. Black?
I'm not worried about that.
All right, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right, our next public comment, Ms. Kelly Jeffries has something.
Good evening and Happy New Year. Thanks for having me. I just wanted to come by because we're focusing on this project for the Terrebonne Parish Waterways to remove 232 derelicts and abandoned vessels from Bayous Terrebonne, Grand Caillou, Petit Caillou, and Du Large. So earlier in 2024, they had a survey company came and did a comprehensive survey with imagery, LiDAR technology, and side scan. That's what gave us our list of 232 vessels. So for funding for this project, currently the parish has allotted $1 million for it. We just applied for a Boat US Foundation grant to try to get another $1 million. And the reason I'm here today, so thank you for having me, is currently working on a NOAA marine debris removal grant application. And in that, they are very into engaging with the community and making sure we're, making sure that we're getting that list is agreed upon and that everyone in the community would be on board with that list. So I was basically here to kind of listen to y'all and see if see where we could plug stuff in where there might be crossover. I highlighted blue some of the areas where I'm just trying to fill out. I think the impactful large marine debris removal activities, I think we kind of have that box checked, and the other two are kind of the ones I'm trying to drill down on. And then I just included this for your all's review. This is the list, each one broken down. I just included a couple of slides just to kind of just to show you, demonstrate what we're gonna end up submitting with the application. So there actually is a photograph and a LiDAR image for each vessel on the list, as well as there is an additional, the side scan, what the side scan survey came up with, and how those targets were also identified. So if anyone wants to see any, we're happy to share all of the data we have. We have them on KMZ files, so we've done them on overlay for GIS and have them via Excel spreadsheet. So happy to share any of the reports that we got from this survey company. And so that's the lists and that's the targets. And then the second to last page is just a breakdown by each bayou length. And this is a kind of a rough, we're gonna revisit this budget and happy to take if anyone has a good input on this, but this is just kind of a rough estimate based on what we assume the gross tonnage of the vessels to be and how much that we could value the removal to cost. So so that's how we came up with it. Right here, it's roughly at 3.2 million, but we're actually we're bolstering it up a little bit. I think we're still gonna ask for 5 million through the Boat US grant. And then the last page is just the next steps. Currently working on the procurement packet for removal, potentially for water monitoring activities as well. And then we're trying to push out with public engagement and education, get a plan going for that, just to be more informative to the public about the project, as well as ways to avoid having this remain a problem in the future. Yeah, and so basically I'm here for, because just kind of looking for that coordination piece with everybody in the community and the hard work you all do here. So just trying to glean it off and put it into our application. And so, I included my name and my email address at the bottom if anyone wants to reach out or has any feedback. We are happy to take it, I guess. And that's all I have.
I have a question.
Okay.
Just on your little map right here, it says no visible markings. What did that?
So the survey, the part of the survey was they documented if they found any markings. On most of them, they did not. But if they did, they
So
noted-
markings would be the numbers?
like the documentation number or any kind of registration number, or even just the name of the vessel. Like some of them did still have names on them, but for the most part, the majority of them didn't have any kind of markings that would help to identify an
So
owner.
if we did have the boat numbers, we would know who the boat belonged to, right? And then is there any responsibility to go back to the owners of the boats?
Correct, and I'll have to follow up with you on that, but because as far as where they've gone, because I know that we're working with the legal department on making the public notices, prior to removing anything, to make sure, we don't, but I don't know the status of that, but I can certainly find out.
Gotcha.
You would think they should be responsible for their own boats.
Yeah.
No,
Some of them are
they know how
nice
to get
too.
rid of them.
Well, the third one down, I guarantee you that boat's got boat numbers on it right there. The wooden boats may not, they may have taken them off.
They
Yeah.
probably did.
Yeah, I think they did say
Probably.
some of them had been,
Probably
yeah.
the case, yeah.
Yeah, they've been taken
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
And just for your information, I've written letters of support for both of these grant applications because I think it's very important.
Oh, God, long overdue, yeah.
Yeah, definitely do. Definitely needs to be done.
Legal proceedings to solo the projects?
My understanding is like Terrebonne has done this before in 2015, did a project where they, I've been told they're following that same process of putting the public notice out. They've all the boats have been in place for 30 days, which is the Louisiana law, I believe. Once it hits 30 days and it's not removed, it's eligible for removal as to be classified as a derelict vessel. And so that's my understanding is they're going through the legal process with the legal department and following all the necessary steps in accordance with the Louisiana law. So I don't think so.
And we did this back in 2008 too.
Okay, 2008. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was
Twice.
pretty
James
recent.
did it back then.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought I remember it too. So did they clear every vessel? And this is 232 since 2008?
Probably since yeah.
Okay.
I
Right
don't
since the
remember when James
hurricane.
went, but he did it like for a while, like almost like 2 months. He
But
got-
they did every one that they wanted. They didn't run out of money or
no,
whatever.
yeah, this is back when Leslie was.
Yeah, yeah.
A long time ago.
Mhm.
This is like, but the third time we do this.
Okay. Interesting.
So is there a certain width of the waterway that's considered, like some owners may say, I don't believe it's actually affecting,
Yeah, it's not blocking the channel in anywhere that it doesn't appear that anywhere any of them are blocking the channel. They surveyed 73 miles between all four bayous, and I'm not sure if I'm saying this correctly. The project manager couldn't come, but I think my understanding is that due to all the feedback from the citizens and the complaints and they created this list and just realized this list is huge. So they brought the survey company in, and then the plan is to do strategic removal where the boats are clustered. I think also that Mr. Black received a permit application for Bayou Grand Caillou. So the plan is to start there, go through the funding, hopefully get more funding, and just hopefully keep working through the list.
so what's considered a decrepit state with the vessel?
It's funny because some of them actually look like pretty nice boats, and some I know I didn't put all the pictures in here, but if the vessel's been there for 30 days without being moved, apparently that makes it classified as derelict. A lot of them are very obviously like in disrepair and sinking. There's different status for all of them, but yeah, I think once they get to the removal activity, there'll be more written into the construction, how the day-to-day plan and week-to-week plan's gonna go as far as removing, and hopefully if someone does wanna come forward and retrieve their boat, they will.
So a leaking fuel or any type of-
So that was the plan with the water monitoring. They didn't make, in the report, they did not comment much on that. We did provide the list to the Coast Guard and the Army Corps of Engineers. I'm sorry, LASCO. I take that back. LASCO gave us their list from after Ida of where they had recorded pollution in the water. And then we gave them this list so they could cross-reference it. As far as where that came out, I'd have to get back to you on that. But I don't think they saw much pollution. But
What happens if we go to remove these boats and then oil and diesel starts coming out at that point?
So we have to notify the Coast Guard 2 weeks prior. I believe that's also gonna have to be written in some way into the removal plan for the construction company on what contingency steps need to be taken after that. I do also believe that is part of all the permitting process. I think that's one of the questions. So, but yeah, we'll definitely need to address that in the,
Somebody's on standby.
I think in the past, they put a pollution boom before they start
Then
grabbing.
remove it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just plan ahead for a case.
Yeah.
So I see your list on the back there. You do have all of them there, and there's only one boat with boat numbers. I guarantee you,
Yeah.
a lot of those boats were put there and the numbers were taken off.
right.
They're easy way to get rid of their junk.
And how would you know if there's, I know we receive, some of the citizens in the parish receive, may receive funding from FEMA or?
Not for
Yeah, or-
this
or
project.
any of
So.
Or any of these vessels, do they have applications on them for like
No.
storm-related damages or anything like that?
Correct. The part I'm familiar with, or is the public assistance side, is the not the individual public assistance side, but doing like the project. So this actually doesn't fall under a FEMA project. That's why we're trying to find some more grant funding.
Yes, I'm sorry for-
Oh, no, not at all. I know right after the hurricane, the emergency debris removal is an authorized FEMA project, but I don't think we got those in there. And so,
Anyone else have something for Ms. Jeffries? Thank you, Ms. Shepherd.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Terry Ellis, Ducks Unlimited.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
My name is Scott Graham. I'm a regional biologist for Ducks Unlimited out of our Lafayette office. I'm here today to provide a brief update on some of our coastal restoration projects that we have going on here in the parish. I just want to thank the committee for seeing us. I believe the last time I was here was over 2 years ago, back when Leslie was still with Ducks Unlimited. We now have Amanda Wazan, who will get up here shortly and tell us also about some of their projects that they have with ConocoPhillips.
It's not working at all.
It ain't working.
I'm just
We're
moving.
gonna change the battery, I guess.
Thank you. So the first one I'll talk about is the Dularge Marsh Enhancement and Community Resilience Project. This recently wrapped up and constructed over 184,000 linear feet of earth and marsh terraces, refurbished 2,200 linear feet of levee, and replaced one old water control structure. This was a project that had two different tracks, one just north of Falgoux Canal Marina on Apache Minerals property, and one south of Falgoux Canal Marina on Harryburg property. In total, the project benefited over 3,700 acres of intermediate and brackish marsh at a cost of about $7.25 million. Partners on this project included the North American Wetlands Conservation Act, the National Fish and Wildlife Federation, Apache Minerals, the Harryburg Corporation, the Dularge Marsh Hunting Club, the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government, Terrebonne Levee and Conservation District, and the CPRA. You can go to the next slide. So this is showing the Apache portion of the project where we constructed 114,000 linear feet of earth and marsh terraces. This track of the project was completed in early 2024. And we also planted the project with Spartina alterniflora on all terrace edges and Distiglis spicata on the tops of the terraces, as well as some bulrush planted in the water in front of the terraces. We did do one volunteer planting in addition to the contractor planting. That volunteer planting was done in partnership with the Hunting Club and the Lafourche Terrebonne Soil and Water Conservation District. The southern portion of the track for this we call the Harryburg Terracing Project, located on Harryburg's property. This recently wrapped up last month, where we completed 70,000 linear feet of earth and terraces at a cost of $4.8 million with the same partners. Again, these terraces were planted with Spartina alterniflora on all the edges and should vegetate naturally on the tops. We do have a phase 2 plan for the Harryburg Terracing Project. Right now, this project is in development. It is fully permitted to construct about 60,000 linear feet of earth and terraces. We do hope to possibly secure a future NAWCA grant for this project at a cost of $2.1 million in the future. Next up, we have the Terrebonne Parish Nature and Recreation Conservatory. I want to be clear that this is not a Ducks Unlimited project. However, it was brought to our attention that this might be a project we could partner with. If you aren't familiar with the project, a little background is that Shell donated this property, about 4,000 acres of freshwater marsh, to the parish in hopes that it would be used as a stormwater retention and recreational wetland use area. It would be at a cost of about $15 million and would include water control structures, levees, pumps, trails, boardwalks, kayak launches, and other recreational features. Ducks Unlimited right now is just keeping our eye on the project in case in the near future we have some resources to contribute to the project through our NERDA Bayou False Nutrient Reduction Program. These projects kind of accomplish the same goals with nutrient reduction, and so in the case that we do have funding to provide the project, we want to be ready for it. And so we are in communication with GIS and the parish on this project, just waiting for it to develop a little bit further. Next up, we have the Lake Hackberry Breach Repair Project. We got a NAWCA award for $1 million back in 2021 for this project, located on Continental Land and Fur property, just west of Houma on the Intracoastal Canal. This piece of property has experienced significant marsh loss from floatant due to the traffic on the Intracoastal Waterway and shoreline erosion. So the idea of the project was to implement shoreline protection features that would enhance about 2,000 acres of marsh. Unfortunately, last year, Hurricane Francine came through and really changed the project site. So we right now are going to have to pivot for the project and either find new features to use at this location or find a new location for the project entirely. Something that we are looking at is timber fencing that is used on TE 43 just east of the project area. We are working on that right now to see what we can do with the project. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Hey, good evening. Amanda Voisin, also with Ducks Unlimited. I'm actually here in Homa. I'm the Coastal Restoration Coordinator for the South Louisiana office. To kind of give you guys a background, and I'm sure a lot of y'all are familiar with kind of the work we've been doing locally here with ConocoPhillips, but since 2012, ConocoPhillips has provided roughly about $1 million a year to Ducks Unlimited. So it's just over $12 million for coastal restoration projects here in South Louisiana. So with that $12 million, we've been able to leverage that into over $51 million in projects. And that's by bringing partners to the table, going after grant funding. So we've kind of used that money as seed money and kind of grow it over time. To date, we've done 22 projects that have benefited and enhanced more than 26,000 acres in Louisiana. We do our primary type of project that we do is marsh terracing. That's the bulk of what we do here. But we also do hydrologic enhancement, so water control structures, shoreline protection, living shoreline. So the gentleman earlier had mentioned the Cajun coral product. We haven't used that here in Terrebonne, but we have used it on other projects, primarily in Lafourche Parish. I don't know if y'all have gone to Grand Isle lately, but we have the big Port Fourchon project going between Fourchon and Grand Isle. On the right, if you look over, there's been some big machinery working. We actually have some Cajun coral on that terracing project. So we have a little bit of experience with it, but it's kind of, we're still trying to figure out the best practice for it, for our purposes. So partnership impact, this is coast-wide. This is all of the projects, but the projects that we've done in Terrebonne are a part of this. So terracing, we've been able to accomplish over about 64 miles since 2012, and hydrologic enhancements, so water control structures, those types of projects, over 16,750 acres. Shoreline protection would be around 3,600 feet of shoreline protected. And marsh creation, the only marsh creation projects we've done has been in Lafourche Parish, but it has been 140 acres created or nourished. This is an entire list of all the projects we've done, but the highlighted ones are the ones that we've completed in Terrebonne. So we have a good bit of constructed projects, but the ones I'm going to talk about today are the ongoing, so Carencro Bayou Bankline Restoration and the Rackersea Phase 2 Terracing Project. So the first project we have is the Carencro Bayou Bankline Restoration. Project partners on this is Ducks Unlimited, ConocoPhillips, and CPRA. This project is going to include the restoration of 13 breaches using sheet pile structures, and then also lifting about 9 miles of natural ridge along Carencro Bayou. So due to funding, whenever we would develop this project, we developed it as one project, but with funding and the limited availability of it, we've had to break it up. So we have 3 phases. Blue is phase 1, which is what is under construction right now. That's 20,850 linear feet of bankline restoration and 6 breach repairs. And then as we're going to keep pursuing funding for this, but eventually we'll get to the yellow and the orange, which is yellow is our phase 2. That's about 3 miles and 2 breach repairs. And then phase 3 in the orange, which is about 2 miles and 5 breach repairs. And the orange is Brady Canal, just for your reference. So this just kind of has like a schematic to show. I know it's kind of hard to read, but we're going to lift the bank line of Carencro Bayou to about plus 3.5 foot elevation. This project is primarily funded through the ConocoPhillips DU partnership funding, and we did get a little bit of grant funding through CPRA to the tune of about $150,000. So for phase 1, we solicited the bids back in October. Dupree Brothers came back as the lowest bidder, so we issued them a notice to proceed on December 9th with a 120-day contract time. We started that in mid-December, and it's currently ongoing. So that project, the phase one, is about $1.15 million total. The next project is the West Rackersy Bay Phase 2 terracing project. This one, Mart had mentioned the TE 156 project earlier through QIPRA. This one is actually adjacent, part of it is adjacent to that project. So if you look, the green areas is what is in our Phase 2. And within that, I didn't break it up, but within that, there's kind of two tracks. There's a NALCA tract. So we secured NALCA grant funding for 50,000 linear feet of terraces and vegetative plantings. And then working with Mart, there was a CPRA parish matching proposal that we submitted. We worked with Mart and collaborated on that. Terrebonne Parish was willing to put up $100,000 as a match as a requirement of the program. We requested 775,000 linear feet, and that would be for 18,400 linear feet of terraces and vegetative plantings. So we will find, I think, what Mart in like March, April, I think CPRA is going to let us know if we got that or not. So hopefully we do. If we do, we'll be able to construct what is everything we have pretty much permitted in that area. So that'll be a big win for this area and for this project. This is just a schematic to kind of show you the cross section and the plan view. For the phase one of this project, we used the chevron duckwing pattern, and I think that's what we're probably going to do for phase two. But we construct the terraces to about a plus 25 foot elevation. And if y'all aren't familiar with terraces, we don't pump in sediment. We use like a marsh buggy to dredge right adjacent to where the terraces will be constructed. So it's a very cost efficient way to construct these projects. And then, so this one, this is actually this should say phase one. I'm sorry. I didn't change the title. But this is a continuation of our phase one project. Phase one was adjacent to those phase two areas. We constructed this one finished in October 2022, and it included 57,000 linear feet of terraces. And you can kind of see these projects of the constructed terraces. And you can see the vegetative plantings that we did around after they were done. So this was about a $2.2 million project, and so those two projects will work well with each other. And I think that is it. That is all we have for those projects. So if y'all have any questions or anything, let us
Tell you
know.
what, go back one slide to that one before there, just to reference everybody. That's Bayou de Cad in that lower left corner down there with all the camps.
Right.
And then the upper right-hand side is Bayou de Cad, so, be familiar where we're talking about.
And also, I don't know if you got, I'm putting a plug in for us. If y'all are familiar with the show Duck Camp Dinners, this project and the ConocoPhillips DU partnership was featured on episode 6 of season 3. So happy to provide y'all the link, but it's just cool it's a very widely watched show around here. So it was just cool to see one of our local projects featured on, something that a lot of people.
Can you go back one more slide? Oh, sorry, one more. I thought 156 was here.
It hugs the left side, the east
All
side.
of this?
It hugs the western side. So the western.
Yeah.
Here?
Yes, it'll hug that.
We had a project with this.
There's
Yeah, 166, but it didn't get funded.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
166.
So the 156 and that western side of this project pretty much butt up against each other.
And right below all that terracing is that major land bridge that went through there down Small Bayou. So that's, if you can see, that's all that was all pumped out of Lake Michon up there and built all that base. And the terracing behind it is an awesome fix right there. So that's really cool what's going on.
Anybody else
The,
got anything?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Amanda, on phase one of that, fast forward, Vicky, a few slides. All right, stop right there. Was Lafourche Parish government involved in that?
So yes, that's not a typo. So the way NALCA works, you have cash match, but you also can use in-kind match. So projects that use non-federal funding and that are a similar type of project in the vicinity, you can use that as in-kind match to go towards the required match for the grant. And it's kind of complicated, and I know I probably lost y'all, but there was a project in Lafourche Parish that used non-federal funding that we were just able to tap into to meet the match requirements for this grant proposal.
We'll have to
So-
send Archie a thank you note then.
But what's good about that, they're taking all that information and capturing that matching funds over here, matching funds over here, and putting it all together and making one project a little bit bigger all the way around. So
Yeah.
it's good to take advantage of everything.
I want to say on that, on the Karen Crow Bayou project that Amanda mentioned, that's going to cut down on saltwater intrusion into that area, but it's also going to work synergistically with the Karen Crow Bayou diversion project we're trying to get funding for. So,
And if y'all look at that picture right there, but the spot, just location there, the spot between the blue and the yellow, that's Voss Canal. So to give you an idea where we're at there, and if you look down Voss Canal, there is 2 terracing projects already built. You can kind
Yeah.
of see them on the lower
Yeah,
right-hand
with the
corner.
little
and that
squares.
blue,
Yeah, the
that
squares.
blue line goes right into a Karen Crow Lake on the
So when
left.
you go up Voss Canal and go left, that's the blue area. And if you go right, then that's the yellow area.
Marilyn?
Yeah, the terraces that have been built previously, how did Hurricane Ida affect those? Was there any major damage to them, or they held up well?
They do pretty well.
They do?
They do pretty well.
Yeah, the records, there was a couple in Lafourche Parish that we had literally just built and they didn't have time to settle or
Right.
vegetate, but the ones that had been there a while and kind of, had consolidated and were vegetated, they did good.
Yeah.
And the idea is having them at the angles. and
Right,
Angles
to
like
break-
that.
right,
The
so-
outside ones take the beating before the
Mhm.
insides do, so you have some wear and tear on the outside before it moves in.
Right.
And if you
And
had
it all
to later
depends on
down,
the,
you just have
yeah,
to rebuild
it
the
depends
outside.
on where the storm's coming from too and all that. I mean, I understand that.
And we were the Cajun Coral product. So the one in Fouchon, for example, they had some terraces on the outside that we were expected to take the brunt of this, any kind of wave action or whatever. So we put the Cajun Coral lining the outer edges of those, and we're hoping that kind of beefs it up a little bit and shores it up and provides an extra layer of protection.
And,
So
and
Amanda,
talking
y'all
about,
have plans to vegetate the ridges?
I'll get back to you. I think so, but let me get back to you on that.
And specifically woodies versus just grasses?
Yeah, I don't know the details of that, but I'll check with Will, our engineer, and get back with you for sure.
but back to the Cajun Coral thing, they did some, on the south bank of Lost Lake, they did the WAD thing, which
Mhm.
is a lot much bigger type concrete thing, but it's a bank line stabilization. That was part of the Lost Lake, bank line stabilization. So they have done that out there, but it's bigger,
Yeah, those are bigger structures.
bigger
Right.
structure.
Yeah, they're big
But-
concrete triangles.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the idea is that the block stops the wave action and then, but water can go through and
And
drop
then-
out the sediment. Cause
Right,
you're over there
exactly.
to the Chaffalaya and Lost Lake is getting some sediment coming
Right.
through there. It did build up behind it and it could be that you go and build it up and then pick them up and move them out.
Move them out, let it
Yeah.
keep building
If
up.
it-
yeah.
If that was the theory behind all that.
Right.
Back when it was being done.
Anybody else?
So, I mean, it really looks nice and nourished in the estuary. So are we seeing, wildlife, uptick with the?
Yeah, maybe.
I can help you with that.
Yeah.
You see, if you go back to those terracing, that is the perfect location for shorebirds and mottle ducks to nest in. And there's gonna be critters running out, rabbits, everything's gonna be in those terracing. And then with the terracing, if you notice, as it has a little plateau before it goes into the ditch they're digging, that's where the fish go, right? Fish can swim all around. That's why you have the gaps between them, where the fish can swim. But then in the shallow area, that's where the feed, the good grass, the duckweed and stuff. If you don't
wanna
have the
see some
terraces,
that's growing good, go down Island Road and you can see those from the actual highway. Down
and
Pontoon.
and if you didn't have the terraces, it'd just be wave action.
Right.
And it would be nothing but waves, right?
Yeah.
So now when you slow down those waves, then you got aquatics growing up
Yeah.
underneath.
Anyone else?
Definitely being beneficial.
The only thing ConocoPhillips needs to sign some land rights that we need for by Terrebonne Ridge restoration. It's like,
Among
put that
others.
bug in their ear.
Among others.
They're fixing to defund that project because they're not signing over, and
Yeah.
we're fixing to lose it.
It's complicated.
So
Yeah.
all of this funding for these terraces and things like that on, basically private properties. I mean, is there going to be any access for public to use that in the future? I mean, has that even been discussed, like for fishing or hunting or something like that? I mean, or is that going to be still like a lease program with the
That,
oil companies?
I agree with you that any public money on there,
I know.
public access after.
may be a little difficult to Harry Berg.
Well,
but
I know.
Everybody else.
Yeah.
But they put up the majority of the money and the other money comes in. So this is part of the coastal restoration side. So if you go to Pointe-Chan and all those projects down there, those are all
That's all on
open to the
public land, yeah.
That's all open for the public to go hunting at no charge type of
Right,
deal.
right.
But this is the landowner's putting the big chunk up, and then it's restoration after that. So. We don't have no land if they don't do something
Well,
right.
no,
So
I
this
understand.
is little piecemeals all the way around. It's like little postage stamps all over, and you
Yeah.
put enough together, it makes one.
Right
sure
now,
deed.
that's all we got going for us right now.
Right.
And just to let you know, Terrebonne Parish, 80% of it's owned by like 3 land companies. So if you're gonna do anything, you're gonna be on one of them 3, right?
Yeah.
And to get these NALCA grants, we almost always pair a private land tract with a public land tract to help the grant do better and make it more appealing. And so we don't restrict hunting or access. That's up to the landowner, and they still are. We encourage them to lease it out and things like that. But these grants are mostly funded through excise taxes for hunting and fishing, firearm supplies, things like that, as well as the BP oil spill.
Right.
And like he said, we can't do this without the partnership from the private landowners. They have to have buy-in and show some commitment as well.
Sure.
All right, we thank y'all for coming and present.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
So much.
All right, any committee member comments? Jeff, Tony,
Nope.
Merlin,
Nope.
Matt, Jan, Stuart. All right, our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. The meeting room up here at 5 p.m. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion Jan. Second Merlin. Meeting adjourned.